Hi, magandang hapon sa inyong lahat. Good afternoon to everyone. Ako po si Aura. My name is Aura. At ako ay lubos na nagagalak na ipakilala sa inyo ang aking bansang Pilipinas. And I am extremely pleased to introduce to you my country, the Philippines. The Philippines, the Republic of the Philippines is a country in Southeast Asia. We call it Pilipinas in the local language. We are an archipelago, and culturally and in our ethnic mix, we are very mixed. We are descended from more of like the Austronesian race, so we're closely related to a lot of the other Southeast Asian nations in terms of our ethnicity. But we also have influences from China and also from some of the Aborigine Austronesian. And in terms of our historical context, we were colonized for 400 years by Spain. Then we were then sold to America. And then we were briefly occupied by the Japanese in World War II. So you can see all this mix of cultural influences really affect our culture, as you will see as we move forward. And our country is on the Pacific Rim of Fire. So it is actually one of the most disaster-prone countries in the world. We have like 20 typhoons a year, earthquakes, volcanic eruptions, almost everything except snow, I guess. And so that makes our country a very, very interesting landscape. We are an archipelagic nation with 7,641 islands and 110 million citizens. 10 million of our citizens are actually called OFWs, or Overseas Filipino Workers. So they are actually spread all across the world. The capital of our country is Manila. And that is Manila City, which is part of a bigger region, Metro Manila. So, but often people, when they talk about Manila, they actually refer to the Metro Manila region, which is actually made up of 16 cities, and it has around 15 million people. So we have three major island groups: Luzon, which is in yellow, Visayas in green, and Mindanao in red. The religion is 86% Roman Catholic, so we're the most Catholic country in Asia, and this is a legacy of our Spanish colonization. We have a 4% Muslim population, which is mostly in the red area, which is Mindanao, and this is very close to Indonesia. So, yeah. Filipinos, we also call ourselves Pinoys. So we love to laugh. We're very happy people. We love to sing karaoke. Most Filipinos have a karaoke set in their house. I'm not kidding. And we love to eat. We love to feed people. We're very family oriented. Many Filipinos live in a multi-generational household. And of course, when you visit a Filipino house, they will always feed you and you can stay a long time. We love having guests. We are also very good at adapting to new environments. So this is a sort of a thing because we have such a huge diaspora of overseas workers. They're very known among international employers for their ability to adapt. Yeah, so actually a lot of the nurses in the UK and the US are Filipinos. Yeah. And here are just some of our famous Filipinos. I don't know if you recognize them. So in the top is Lea Salonga. She's a Broadway star who originated the role of Kim in Miss Saigon. But you may probably know her as the singing voice of Princess Jasmine in Aladdin and also Mulan. And we have below is Manny Pacquiao. He's a world champion boxer. And then maybe you know, if you follow pageants, we have Miss Universes. So our two recent ones, Pia Wurtzbach and Catriona Gray. So we actually have 187 languages in the Philippines, and I mean it has to do with the archipelagic nature of our country, that we have really a lot of cultures and a lot of ethnic groups. So, but officially, their official languages are Filipino and English. But English is actually the language of the law and of business and often education. So when I was studying, I only had like 2 Filipino subjects out of 10. Everything was taught in English. All of our laws are written in English. If you go to a bank, everything's in English. So actually, anyone, if you visit as a tourist, it's very easy to get around because everyone speaks English. Filipino, our official language, national language, is based on one of our regional languages, which is Tagalog. So often, sometimes you will hear them being interchanged. People will say Tagalog or Filipino, but they are not the same. Filipino is more broad because it involves adapt some words from the regional languages, but also from Spanish that Tagalog does not. And we have other major languages, Cebuano, Ilocano, Hiligaynon, but these are just the major ones. So most Filipinos actually speak 3 languages: Filipino, English, and a regional language. And a fun fact, Filipino is actually gender neutral. So sometimes if you talk to a Filipino and they mix up their he or she's, it's because in Filipino there's no gender. So we don't have a he or she, we only have one pronoun. So I'm just gonna say a few Filipino phrases. So, kumusta? How are you? And for our Spanish speakers, you can notice that it comes from Spanish. Salamat, thank you. Paalam, goodbye. This is a bit formal and we don't use this regularly. We just usually say bye. But it's actually usually followed up with ingat, which means take care. Yeah, are there any phrases that anything else I should say? Well, anyway, let me know. Please. And welcome. Oh my gosh. So we don't actually have a please. We have something you add in front of whatever you want to ask for. So it's paki or pakiusap. I guess you could say pakiusap. It would be like asking someone for something. Your welcome is walang anuman, which literally is it's nothing, no problem. So I guess it's a bit yes and no maybe are easier. Yes is oo, and no is hindi, like hindi but hindi. Yeah. But anyway, you can chat if you have any other words that you might be interested in knowing. Filipiniana, so that's what I'm wearing right now. It's what we call our traditional wear, and this is considered formal attire. So what I'm wearing is a female version of the barong, as you can see in the upper right side. That's the male version. And it's actually, this is the kind of clothes that we would wear at weddings or formal events. And the barong, there are also this is a very formal one. It's made out of banana fiber, but it can also be made out of pineapple fiber, which is very, very fine, and it's very adapted to the climate. There are versions that are less fine, like made out of cotton, and some people wear these to work. But the rest of the clothes are very, very formal and only worn at events. But we also have, I guess, Filipiniana on different ethnic groups as well. So the Malong at the bottom, which is in the south, and then next to it is some of our indigenous tribes wear. So they have their own weaving patterns per tribe. Food, Filipino cuisine. It's very salty, sweet, and sour. It's not very spicy. We do have some regions which have spicy food, but in general, Filipino food is not spicy. These are just a few of our dishes. So sinigang in the center, that's a sour soup based on tamarind. Pancit is noodles, which is kind of a Chinese influence. Halo halo is literally means mix. It's a bunch of different sweet ingredients on shaved ice and milk. Lumpia is spring rolls. Bulalo is a kind of soup made with the bone marrow. And sisig is a bit interesting. It's actually made from pig face, which sounds weird, but it's actually pretty good. And it's eaten a lot when people drink. And lastly, I'm just going to show you some of our famous tourist destinations. But these are just a few. We have a lot, actually. Boracay is probably the most famous. It's an island in Visayas that has white sand beaches. So these are where a lot of people go. Mayon volcano is one of our volcanoes. It's known for its perfect conical shape. So I think it has the most perfect shape of a volcano in the world. The Banawe rice terraces are up in the north. It's 4,000 years old, I believe. And this is just a part of it, the picture, but it's actually quite expansive and made by human hands. So it's one of those man-made wonders of the world. Chocolate Hills was named because it looks like Hershey's Kisses. So the grass turns brown in the dry season, but it's green during wet season. And then we have Palawan is an interesting place. So if I go back to the map, hold on. Palawan is this yellow long island at the side. That's Palawan. What's interesting about it is that it's on its own tectonic plate. So the whole of the Philippines is in a certain earthquake restriction in terms of structural design, but Palawan is not because it doesn't have earthquakes. It doesn't have earthquakes or typhoons. So it's the only kind of place in the Philippines that isn't very disastrous. But it's very beautiful and it has a lot of biodiversity as well. It also has species that are endemic only to Palawan. So you will not be able to find them anywhere else in the world. Vigan is a city up in the north. It's a UNESCO heritage city because it preserved the town center from the Spanish colonial period. So it's very, very nice. In Manila, you will probably only find these kind of buildings in Intramuros, which was the seat of the Spanish colonial government. But a lot of the other buildings are no longer there because they were bombed during World War II. But also other heritage houses can be found in this. It's a bit of a newer tourist destination, Las Casas Filipinas de Acozar. So it was this very big estate that the owner decided to rescue some heritage houses that were going to be demolished. So he had them disassembled piece by piece and documented so that they could be rebuilt in this place. And if you want to look for more of a metropolitan vibe, you can go in Manila, we have Bonifacio Global City, which is a sort of a master plan development in Metro Manila. Yeah, and it's very nice. So that's it. Mabuhay. Thank you. Does anyone have any questions or?
Yes, I have two questions.
Yeah, go ahead.
First of all, nice presentation.
Thank you.
Okay, so I consider that a significant portion of your GDP should be coming from the tourism industry, right? So
yeah, I think 14%, not that big, but yeah.
So what will be the present and after effect of this corona crisis? And second question, I forgot the second question. I will ask when I remember.
Sorry, I didn't hear the second one.
Yeah, the second one I forgot. I will ask.
Okay, don't worry. In terms of tourism, so they were, I mean, I think it's the same in a lot of places. They were saying that we should promote domestic tourism, you know, because I guess, I mean, Filipinos can also travel inside the Philippines. And I will admit that I haven't been to all of the places that I showed you. Sorry. Yeah, Rania. Have you been to these places? Yes, I've been to some of them, but not all of them. Because it's actually a lot. Like if you make a bucket list of every place you would probably go to in the Philippines, this is a lot. So this is the thing. We have a lot of these white sand beaches and a lot of nice forests. And I have not been to every place yet, but I will. I hope I will. What is the best time in the year to visit the Philippines? So the rainy season starts around August, July, end of July. So that time is probably not, don't go at this time because you're just going to get hit by typhoons. You should probably go around the summer, maybe June. June is actually very nice. Yeah, or April. Yeah, this kind of April to June is nice, summertime. What is the political organization in the Philippines? Do you mean we're democratic government? Is that what you mean? Yeah, we have a president, Congress, Senate and a lower house, and we have the judiciary.
Do you have a president, for instance?
Yes, we have a president and a vice president.
Oh, yeah. Okay. The king?
No, no king. We're a democracy. Yeah. What is the most common question that people ask you after you tell them you're from the Philippines? I don't know. I think mostly people haven't, I don't know, here at least, people haven't met people from the Philippines. Or they get surprised because they say, I talk like an American, I think. So yeah, but, or they ask me about Boracay. Yeah, if they know about the Philippines, they ask me about Boracay, which is the very popular island. Yeah. What about risk of earthquake? Does it happen often or in specific regions? Yes, actually, earthquakes kind of happen almost every day, but we don't really feel it, or we do, but we're not, you know, we're used to it. So actually so I'm an architect, and we are very picky about the design of buildings to withstand magnitude 5 earthquakes at least. And the building should be able to stand for 2 hours in a magnitude 5 event to be able to allow people to evacuate. So earthquake is something that is kind of a given for building design.
Yeah, a follow-up question. Does it happen across the whole country, or there are specific areas where
the earthquakes?
Yeah.
We are, so basically the whole country except for that little island Palawan, we have to design uniformly the same, because we're, if you notice on the map, we're like in the Pacific ring of fire. So all of these areas have plates, tectonic plates, and volcanoes. So yeah, basically everywhere except Palawan is earthquake zone. Yeah, and actually there is a fault in the middle of Metro Manila that is expected to have an earthquake, a big earthquake soon. So actually for the past 5 years, we've been doing a lot of earthquake drills because it's a very big anticipated earthquake.
What is the main source of economic income as a country?
Oh my gosh. Let me think. Wait. It's like we don't I don't think we have a biggest like market share, but I know that we do have a lot of agricultural exports. We also have a lot of the service industry is very big. So nowadays, I think we're competing with India for the BPO call center industry. So we have a lot of call centers in the Philippines. I think, yeah, more than India. Yeah, so we have tourism, agriculture, and services. That's the question for this year. Yeah, anything else?
I think it's good, but what is the one thing that I must do when I go to Philippines?
Okay. But I think it depends on what you what you
slides.
what you want to see, or like what your interest is. If you're more into natural places, then I would say you should at least visit some of our not like natural places, like some of our beaches or our mountains. If you like to hike, we have a lot of mountains as well. If you want to see more of cities, Metro Manila is very, very big, and you'll be able to see a lot. But there are a lot of major cities as well, in every major island group. We also have a lot of like there are parts which are known for certain things. There are cities known for surfing, for if you want to swim with whale sharks, if you want to see some unique animals. Like every city has its own kind of almost every city in the Philippines has a touristic quality about it, actually. But I mean, I guess start with Manila, and then it depends what you want to see, actually. Earthquake, should it be something to be really worried about while planning to visit your country? No, it basically it happens every day, but it's very light, that you don't actually. Some people are. I'm not very sensitive to earthquakes, for example, so I actually don't notice when it's happening. So, but it's very rarely that we have big ones that would affect your travel. Is it true MOA is the biggest mall in the whole Asia? Yes, we have a very, very big shopping mall called the Mall of Asia, and it is the biggest shopping mall complex in Asia. Yeah. It's a thing because I mean, there are a lot of shopping malls in the Philippines because it's very hot, so people just want somewhere to go with air conditioning. Yeah. What makes people want to invest in the Philippines? How about for industry sector? So we have a lot of multinationals as well in the Philippines, because I mean, I think first of all that Filipinos speak. We have like a 99% literacy in English. So everyone speaks English. So a lot of, especially these call centers, locate in the Philippines because we're very good at English and actually very malleable. Our accent is not very strong. So I know that call center agents can be trained to speak with American accent, British accent. You know, they can be trained to have a different accent depending on where they're assigned. So yeah, that's one of the strong, and we have a very high education rate as well.
If you could change one thing of your country, what would it be?
The president. Just no. Okay, like in general. The thing is that we are so we have such ethnic diversity that I feel in a sense that we do kind of lack a bit of this sort of a national perspective, I guess. It's more common to be loyal to your region than to the whole country. I mean, people love the country, but you know what I mean? There is a priority. So I feel like in a sense that we still kind of debate about what is Filipino culture, what should be the Filipino, you know, what is Filipino architecture, for example. These are actually questions that are still being asked. So I feel like it's a reflection of it's not that the national identity is not there, but we have such a diverse we have such ethnic diversity that it can fragment what does it mean to be a Filipino, I think. So yeah, that's a bit of a question I think that a lot of people still ask. Is it safe to travel there? Which cities will you suggest as must visit? Yes, it's safe to travel in the Philippines. I mean, people will probably tell you which places to go, but especially for if you're asking us also in terms of for women, we are one of the most gender equal countries in the world, so it's very safe. I mean, of course, it will be the same in every place. There are places you shouldn't go to. You should visit, I would say, if you want to kind of get Manila, for sure. You should visit Manila. Cebu, which is one of the biggest cities in the south. That's also a good place to visit. It has a lot of, that's where we have a lot of historical sites there. That's actually where the Spaniards arrived. And there's also a lot of, yeah, there's, was someone saying something? Yeah.
We also have a lot of mangoes.
Yes. Yeah, we have a lot of mangoes. Philippine mangoes. Super good.
Or you just said there's no gender in Philippines?
In Filipino, the language, it's not.
Is it the language or not? I mean,
the
what
language.
do you mean by that? You said there's no gender.
The language is non-gendered. So in English, you have he and she. In Filipino, we say siya. That's it. There's no, it doesn't mean, if someone told me siya, and I wouldn't know if it's a boy or girl.
So it's in terms of language. I thought maybe you don't have issues of gender equality and so forth.
We are, I think, the eighth most gender equal country in the world.
Nice.
So for example, when I was working, I was a manager, and that was not an issue. I know that in some countries, women don't get promoted easily, but for us, it's absolutely no issue for a woman to become a CEO. We are the country with the most women in the C-suite in the whole world. We have, meaning we have the most executive women in executive positions in the whole world. And we've had 2 female presidents. Our vice president is a female. We've had Supreme Court justices who are female. It's not an issue in a sense. And I've never felt disrespected as being a woman professionally, basically. Am I right to say that Philippines is the leading Christian country in Asia? Yes, we have an 86% Roman Catholic population, and I think 8%, something like 8% of other Christian denominations. So we're actually also, because of this Christianity, we're also the only country outside of the Vatican that doesn't have divorce, unfortunately.
That's about what?
Divorce. You cannot get divorced in the Philippines. Yeah.
Is it in the law?
Huh?
Is it in the law or culture?
Sorry?
Because of the law or because of the culture?
Because of the law, and the law will not change because of the culture.